Catherine here. Today, we talk about the dialysis-free protocol. This is the fastest, best documented way in which end-stage CKD patients have actually cut their creatinine in half and avoided dialysis. Yes, it really happened. It's in the study. Okay, I know what you may be thinking. How on earth are these patients in stage 5 kidney disease improving their kidney function when your doc said that even CKD stage 3 is like playing poker with a pair of twos? Well, here's the plot twist. Researchers are using a method that is a little bit more outside the box thinking, maybe even exotic compared to what most doctors do for CKD patients. The old wait and see approach. And now the interesting part, you are going to be able to use many of their findings to actually improve. Because remember, it's all fun and games until someone's kidneys start working better. Speaking of which, don't miss the last entry of this video because that's where the biggest part of the results these end-stage patients got came from. You have been warned. Before that, let's check out the protocol that had end-stage CKD patients waving goodbye to their dialysis machines. This method was so insanely effective that researchers started calling it the dialysis-free protocol. Yes, you heard that right. This is the 3-step miracle plan that effectively helped patients ditch dialysis. And here's the kicker. The 3 parts of this protocol can be used by any kidney disease patient no matter what stage they're in to slow or even stop the progression of the disease. So what's the deal with this dialysis-free protocol and how does it work? Spoiler alert, it's all about uremic toxin absorbents. But what are uremic toxin absorbents and how do they stop the need for dialysis? Well, the super uremic toxin absorbent they use is actually a little black pill called AST-120, which is a modified version of activated charcoal. In a medical setting, activated charcoal is used in the emergency treatment of certain kinds of poisoning and intoxication. Activated charcoal is like the vacuum cleaner of the digestive tract. It sucks up everything from poisons to those double bacon cheeseburgers with a side of cholesterol you had for lunch. Yes, this detox dynamo binds to, well, pretty much everything in the intestine and kicks it all out through the stool. Now, this is both fantastic and a little bit of a problem. I mean, who doesn't love getting rid of toxins and cholesterol? But what happens when activated charcoal also decides to evict your medications, vitamins, and other essential nutrients? Oopsie daisy! Yeah, this is why it's not recommended to use this one on the long term. AST-120 was created exactly to solve this issue. The idea here was simply to give CKD patients a detoxifier that's extremely effective at binding to uremic toxins in the intestine while leaving the rest almost untouched. This works because uremic toxins are, stuff such as ammonia, urea, uric acid, and creatinine. And these toxins are the reason why when kidney damage starts to happen, it's so hard to stop it. When these toxins start to accumulate, they will seriously amplify the damage to the kidneys. And this is what you need to know about AST-120. And if you have never heard about this medication, it's because we can't get it in Europe or the US. I mean, since it actually works, naturally, we can't get it here. Because why would we want to actually try and do something about CKD when we can just sit around and wait for our kidneys to throw in the towel, right? But on the other hand, if you live in one of those countries where this prescription is used, and with some success as well, such as Japan and some other Asian countries, ask your doctor for it. Now, luckily for us, even if AST 120 is as elusive as a cat at bath time, we've got other tricks to detoxify those toxins. So question, what can we use every day to get rid of uremic toxins? Well, there are certain supplements that CKD patients are supposed to take when they are dealing with excess toxins in their body. Yeah, even in the US and Europe. Now, these supplements are taken on a lab value basis, not on a wing and prayer basis, alright? I mean, I don't see no crystal balls here, right? In fact, as someone who is specialized in CKD, when a new patient comes in, one of the first things I do is check their latest blood work like a detective hunting for clues. But how do I tell if a patient needs a detoxifier? Well, the first clue is always the amount of acid in blood. But the way we know if a patient has too much acid in blood is not by looking at their pH or anything like that. No, we search for what's missing, which is serum bicarbonate, or as your blood analysis call it, CO2. If this level is too low, below 22 milliequivalents per liter, the patient needs sodium bicarbonate. Now, making sure CO2 is in the right range is of key importance in CKD patients, but many doctors simply forget to check that level, which is just like driving your car with the oil light on for a year and then being shocked when the engine doesn't start anymore. And I'm not even exaggerating. You see, having too much acid in the body is one of the fastest ways to end up in dialysis. This is especially common in CKD patients who still eat meat. Alright, so don't eat meat. Also because having too much acid in blood causes electrolyte imbalances such as having too much potassium in the blood. Hello, hyperkalemia.
Wait. What?
Oh, you thought eating bananas and potatoes was the potassium bad guy? Nope, eating meat is a way more likely cause of hyperkalemia, as we can clearly read. I mean, who knew? Yeah, the human body is more complicated than IKEA instructions, and we all know how fun those are. Now, when it comes to sodium bicarbonate, a good starting dose is 650 milligrams 3 times a day, but this dose needs to be adjusted depending on your labs, alright? Don't just chug it like a frat boy with a beer bong. Now, another toxin most CKD patients are supposed to be treated for is excessive phosphorus level, or as we in the biz call it, hyperphosphatemia. Because who doesn't love the sound of fancy medical terms? And this is even worse than excess acid because surprise, surprise! A lot of CKD patients aren't even being tested for this, which is just like driving a car without a check engine light because the last mechanic yanked it out with a pair of pliers. Real safe, right? I mean, I don't know if my analogy quite captures the absurdity of not being tested for phosphorus levels, but it's a disaster waiting to happen. Seriously, if your doctor hasn't checked this, it's time to have a little chat. Never ever let your serum phosphorus soar above 4.6 milligrams per DL if you have CKD. Now, here's the kicker about serum phosphorus. Most labs will mark a level of 5.0 milligrams per DL as in range. Spoiler alert, it's not. If you have CKD, your phosphorus level should be lower than the general populations. No more than 4.6 milligrams per DL, and I frankly would prefer it to be much lower than that. But how do we get there, you may ask? Well, with calcium carbonate as a phosphate binder. A good starting dose will be 1250 milligrams of calcium carbonate, 500 milligrams of elemental calcium 3 times a day before meals. Then you check the level again and you adjust the dose. Sounds like a chemistry class, right? That's why you talk to a specialist when you have kidney disease. Now guys, toxin binders are not the only component of the protocol that was given to these patients to avoid dialysis in stage 5. So, given that limiting the impact of uremic toxins is how you avoid dialysis, what else should we do to take care of uremic toxins, you may ask? Well, let's take a look at the next part of the protocol because that's going to help a lot. This is the second part of this protocol. And believe it or not, since reducing toxins is how you dodge dialysis, the second part of the dialysis-free protocol is also a detoxifier. This is called lactulose, which is an oral prebiotic, and it has a different mechanisms of action from AST 120, because otherwise these two wouldn't work when taken together. And you see, lactulose gets the toxins out of the gut in 3 ways. First, it works as a laxative. This is important because in CKD patients, a lot more toxins will get from the intestine to the bloodstream if they are constipated, alright? Yeah, you gotta get stuff moving in order to get stuff outside the body, right? Second, it works as a prebiotic, and it's actually linked to increased amounts of healthy bacteria, especially bifidobacteria and lactobacilli in the gut. Do not underestimate this property. Science has already pointed out that these two genera of bacteria are able to reduce the amount of kidney toxins that are produced in the gut, so keep that in mind. Now, the third way lactulose works is by directly lowering creatinine levels. I mean, this is what we can expect from a detoxifier, right? But how effective is it when taken alone? Well, in a different study conducted on stage 4 and 5 CKD patients, those taking lactulose were able to see their creatinine levels literally drop. They started the 8-week treatment period with 3.90 mg per dl creatinine on average and ended up with just 3.6. To achieve this incredible result, patients took lactulose 30 milliliters or 20 grams 3 times per day for 8 weeks. And of course, researchers believe that this incredible result is due to the ability of lactulose to greatly improving the gut microbiome in those with CKD. And while it had amazing results, I don't really recommend taking a laxative. I mean, unless you're in desperate need of a porcelain marathon. There are, in fact, better ways we can improve the amount of bifidobacteria and lactobacilli in our gut, so that these bacteria can get rid of uremic toxins for us. Something I often recommend is psyllium husk. This is a form of soluble fiber made from the husks of the Platango ovada plant's seeds. While some take this incredibly useful supplement to improve their regularity, overall gut health, and to fight both high cholesterol levels and diabetes, psyllium is also linked to a significant drop in creatinine levels in kidney patients. Test subjects had on average 2.44 milligrams per dl creatinine at the start of the study, but after taking 23 grams of fiber every day for just 4 weeks, their creatinine dropped to 2.21. This is very significant, especially because it was obtained just with dietary fiber. Now, if you want to try psyllium husk, which I recommend, remember that there are a couple of rules to follow. Always start small if you aren't taking fiber already, and don't take it the same time as prescriptions. The dose for psyllium is 5 to 10 grams 2-3 times a day. Taking it 15 to 30 minutes before meals is a great strategy to slow down sugar absorption and decrease cholesterol levels. Now guys, both taking detoxifiers and prebiotics can lead to significant lowering in creatinine levels, no doubt about it. But let's be real, these methods alone can't hold a candle to the jaw-dropping, almost 50% drop in creatinine levels observed in some patients on the dialysis-free protocol. Yeah, as I was saying, the biggest responsible for this incredible result was just one of the 3 parts of this protocol. So, what is the last piece of the puzzle? Let's read directly from the published paper. Low protein diet 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilograms with high biologic value, supplemented with carbohydrates and polyunsaturated fat. And of course, it's a low protein diet. I mean, what else could be saving a CKD stage 5 patient from dialysis? Now let's talk about the low protein diet for a moment, because honestly, too many of you are not following it. Am I wrong? I sincerely hope I am. I hope you're all religiously weighing every bite of food and using an app to track the protein content, or that if you can't stand the idea that you'd need a calculator for dinner, that you are at least following a diet crafted by a professional. So please let me know in comment section if you are following a renal diet or not. Let's talk about it, because this is the most effective way of stopping CKD progression and start to improve. But is the renal diet really a must for someone with CKD, you may ask? Now guys, I really understand that switching from a regular old diet to a low-protein, plant-based diet is a lot easier said than done. Starting a completely new diet is a huge step. It comes with many hurdles. Yeah, I get it. Swapping your beloved burgers for broccoli isn't exactly a culinary dream. Starting a completely new diet is like trying to teach an old dog new tricks. Except the dog is you, and the trick is eating like a rabbit. But ask me if it's worth it. Guys, the renal diet may feel like playing Tetris with your meals, but it is the sine qua non of the treatment for kidney disease. It's extremely hard for a patient to improve without a low-protein plant-based diet, alright? In fact, the dialysis-free protocol we have seen today is all about reducing the amount of kidney toxins going around the body. And yeah, the remedies and prescription medications we have seen in this video can help reduce the amount of toxins, because they either bind to these toxins and prevent them from entering the bloodstream, or they increase the amount of good bacteria in the gut in order for these bacteria to literally eat these toxins. But for many patients, especially those in stage 4 or 5 pre-dialysis, removing uremic toxins through the gut is like trying to empty a flooded basement with a bucket. What's 100 times more effective? Not letting those toxins party in your body in the first place. Okay, look, do you remember that the use of detoxifiers is to remove toxins such as creatinine, urea, ammonia, and all the nasty stuff that damages the kidneys? And do you know where these toxins are coming from? Drum roll! It's protein! Yep! The protein you eat! When we eat protein, your body breaks it down into smaller parts called amino acids. As your body uses amino acids, it creates waste products. Think of it like burning fuel in a car. You get energy, but also exhaust fumes. One of the most dangerous exhaust fumes protein generates is ammonia, which is incredibly toxic. I mean, have you ever noticed that many detergents have a warning on them that says that you can only use them in well-ventilated areas? Do you know why they have that warning? Because they contain ammonia. If you breathe that stuff, it can be very bad for your throat and lungs. Now imagine what ammonia can do to your kidneys when it is inside your body. Yeah, think about that the next time someone invites you out for a steak dinner. And this is only part of the reason why limiting protein intake is one of the main reasons why we are now able to tell patients that dialysis can be delayed by years, if not decades. So if you want to learn more about the low protein diet, this video up here is for you. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!